here comes the danger up in this club. When we get started, man, we ain't gon' stop. We gon' turn it out till it gets too hot. Everybody sing, hey, yo. Tell them turn it up till they can't no more. Let's get this thing shaking like a disco ball. This is your last one and a courtesy call. Hey, yo. Here comes the danger up in this club. When we get started, man, we ain't gon' stop. We gon' turn it out till it gets too hot. Everybody sing, hey, yo. Tell them turn it out till they can't no more. Let's get this thing shaking like a disco ball. This is your last one and a courtesy call. I am not afraid of the storm that comes my way. When it hits, it shakes me to the core and makes me stronger than before. It's not a question about trust, but we stand with us. Can you feel it? Make it real. Oh, I think it might wash away tonight. Awaken from this never-ending fight. It takes more than meets the eye. This war we're fighting is not just riding. Hey, yeah. Here comes the danger up in this club. When we get started, man, we ain't gon' stop. We gon' turn it out till it gets too hot. Everybody sing, hey, yeah. Tell them turn it out till they can't no more. Let's get this thing shaking like a disco ball. This is your last one and a courtesy call. There's a rumble in the floor, so get prepared for war. When it hits, it'll knock you to the ground. When it shakes up everything around. But survival is a must, so we stand with us. Can you feel it? Make it real. Make me feel it. Oh, I think it might wash away tonight. Awaken from this never-ending fight. It takes more than meets the eye. This war we're fighting is not just riding. Hey, yo. Here comes the danger up in this club. When we get started, man, we ain't gon' stop. We gon' turn it out till it gets too hot. Everybody sing, hey, yo. Tell them turn it out till they can't no more. Let's get this thing shaking like a disco ball. This is your last one and a courtesy call. Hey, yo. Here comes the danger up in this club. When we get started, man, we ain't gon' stop. We gon' turn it out till it gets too hot. Everybody sing, hey, yo. Tell them turn it out till they can't no more. Let's get this thing shaking like a disco ball. This is your last one and a courtesy. Vans on my feet will carry me. This cold concrete will set me free. Set me free. Vans on my feet will carry me. Set me free. To be alone. Set me free. Set me. Vans on my feet. Set me. Everyone's searching for a purpose in life. A house for a home with some kids would be nice. Taught to believe that if we don't achieve, we're just another waste of space in front of a TV screen. I'm scared to believe in myself these days, cause if I try and I fail, what will my friends say? In a world full of hopes and dreams, I get nightmares every single time I sleep. Hands on my feet.
it going, everyone? Fuzzy Juggernaut here, and today I'm going to be showing you my Magicka Nightblade build, Cryptid. This is sort of a universal build, built for range and melee, utilizing both. Let's get into the character sheet. Alright, I am a Dark Elf on this. You can run what you'd like. We're sitting at 38k Magicka almost, 2k Magicka recovery, about 25k health, 226 health recovery, which isn't much, but not a big deal. Magicka stamina is almost 12k. It's like 11.8, which is more than enough for this, especially with our champion points, and I'll show you why later. We're sitting at our stamina recovery sitting at about 700. Our spell damage is about 3,000, and our spell critical is almost 47%. Which is pretty good. Our spell resistance, we're sitting at 14k, our physical is 12k, and our critical resistance is 25k, or 2500, which isn't overall, those are pretty good stats. You can feel free to change stuff around. You can also use different sets, as I'll show you in a little bit, but all of our points are into Magicka. I'm using Witch Mother's Potent Brew. You can use Clockwork Citrus Fillet if you want. I choose not to. It's expensive to buy and expensive to make if you have it, but feel free to. It will boost your stats a little bit better than the Witch Mother's, but I get perfectly along with the Witch Mother's. We're running the lever for the Mundus. Increase spell penetration. Also helps with one of our healing abilities that we have. We are stage 4 vampire, and this is going to help with your recovery and speed and stealth. I would recommend using it. Let's see here. Inventory. I use Essence of Health. Preferably I would say use this. The resources you get back on this are really good. You can use Essence of Detection if you want, or Immovability, but Immovability pots don't seem to work half the time in Cyrodiil. Plus, just getting all 3 resources back plus recovery for those 44.7 seconds is just amazing for Essence of Health. So, Detection you can use, but I honestly don't need it, and you can use it on one of our abilities that I'll show you. Alright, first set is Bright Throat, and I'm running a Flame Staff with the Shock Damage enchantment and Nirnhone. You can feel free to run Precise, Sharpened, or Infused. It's up to you. I just already had it Nirnhone, so I just kept it this way. But yeah, like I said, you can run any of the others if you want. It just depends on how you want to run your build. This set gives us Max Magicka, Magicka recovery, and while you have a drink buff active, your Max Magicka is increased by almost 2k, and a Magicka recovery by 145. So overall, it's a pretty good set. It's one of my favorites. Second, running the healing staff on the back bar, Bright Throat, with the weapon damage enchantment and Precise. You can run Infused or Defending on the back bar on your healing staff if you want. I just had Precise and I didn't want to waste the transmutation stones. The weapon damage enchantment, you can run other stuff here if you want. I just use it in longer fights, so it just depends. Pretty much putting dots on somebody, and then I hit them with a light attack with this, and then switch to the front bar and do my attack. So buff up our damage a little higher, put us at I think like 36 or 3700. For our monster set, we are running Valken Scoria. I have a Magicka enchant on this. It is Divines, but you can run Impenetrable or Well-Fitted, whatever you really want. I run 5 Impen and 1 Well-Fitted and 1 Divine. But, like I said, you can run what you want. I just have it on Divines from a PvE set, and I chose to keep it that way. It's fine. Get a little more penetration out of our Mundus from it. This set gives you max health, and when you deal damage with a damage over time effect, you have a 8% chance to summon a meteor that deals 12,746 flame damage to the target and 5,352 flame damage to all other enemies within 5 meters. This effect can occur once every 5 seconds. This is a really good ability. I find this procs quite often actually, especially with our back bar and our 3 dots, and it hits at really good opportune times when they're at like 50k or 50% health or lower. Half the time it'll hit really hard, and then I use my execute abilities and my burst damage in my melee part of my build, and it just absolutely annihilates them. It's really a good set and one of my favorite sets in the game, especially for this build. But you can feel free to run Slime Claw if you want, which will give you the 8% increased damage overall. But like I said, it's up to you. I just really like this monster set with the build. It goes really well. And I'm running like all Magicka damage, or all Magicka enchants on it too. Next set is Rattle Cage. This I have a max Magicka enchantment on it. Sorry. It's impenetrable. The chest and the legs I run because they're heavy. And the rest is all light because it's Bright Throat. So it's up to you. But this set gives us max health, 126 spell damage, max spell damage, and then for the 5th ability it gives us 2. It gives us 98 spell damage and major sorcery, which is really good. And I'll show you on my back bar, I do have entropy, but we're using that as a dot, and I'll get to that later. But you can run the pants and the chest to get the most max resistances for the build. But if you don't have that, obviously you can run something else if you want. Preferably you'd want the chest, legs, or head, but I have both my monster set is both are light, and like I said, the rest of them is all Bright Throat, and it's all Magicka enchantments. They're not maxed out, but you can max them out if you want. Let's see here, jewelry. Oh, and the boots are well fitted. So 1 divine, 1 well fitted, and 5 impen. But like I said, you can run 2 well fitted or 2 divines, an impen, or all impen. Sorry, I'm getting over a cold. Let's see here. Our necklace is all the Rattle Cage. This adds I have a max spell damage enchant on here, and running Arcane. You can run Infused if you want, but I don't suggest it. 38k Magicka plus we have plenty of damage is more than enough, and I prefer to have the sustain than the more damage, but you can feel free to run that if you want. On the next one I'm running a recovery glyph, Magicka recovery glyph, and it's arcane also. All 3 pieces are going to be arcane. And we're running a max spell damage on the last piece of jewelry. So 2 spell damages, 1 recovery. That puts us at 2k Magicka recovery overall in the build, so it's more than enough. You can feel free to switch out and run 2 swords of Bright Throat if you want. For the melee damage, I unfortunately have a sword and a dagger. I still found had more than enough damage with this, but I like the fire staff because you get the 8% increased single target damage. With this you get 6% to your damage, but having a dagger and a sword like I do, I only get 3. I get more crit, but it's honestly, I found the staff to be better. I like to use light attacks. The flame staff, just overall, it feels like it works a lot better, especially at ranged and up close. With the swords, you're really not getting that until you get up to melee range, but it does boost your overall stats on the stat sheet. Right there in stealth, or out of stealth, it was like 3273, and in stealth it's 3546. So overall on the stat sheet it does boost it, but like I said, you're not getting the 8% increase to single target damage. So it's up to you how you want to run it. It looks cooler, but I like the staff a lot. I feel it works better, and I can utilize its abilities more, plus the passive you get from it. So alright, skills. Let's see here. Alright, on our front bar, on our flaming staff bar, we're running Lotus Fan. This is our gap closer. This does a good amount of damage, and it also puts minor vulnerability on our target for 8 seconds, which is really good because that's going to increase our damage, or their damage taken by 8%, which is really nice. And it also puts a dot on them, so it helps to hit with the other dots that we're using on our build. And like I said, a gap. I personally like the gap closer. Our second is Inner Light. This is pretty much just on to give us extra magicka of the 5% and our major prophecy to increase our spell critical rating. So. I mean, it's just a good ability to have on there. Plus, you can use it to pull other Nightblades out of stealth. That's why you don't need to detect pots. It costs a little bit, but our next one is Shadowy Disguise. This is just our cloak or invisibility. I use this constantly, like a lot. This is what the build's built for too. And your next attack within 3 seconds is always guaranteed to be a critical strike. And since we're staying in stealth constantly and then popping out and hitting and staying back, it works really well for damage. This is our Execute Impel. This is our next ability. This hits pretty good, but it really does a massive amount of damage, 300% more damage to enemies below 25% health, which is really important. This is our Execute, and it really hits hard. And it costs hardly anything, and it goes pretty far. 36 meters is pretty far. Our next one is Concealed Weapon. And this one hits for 10,757 magic damage, which was quite a bit, but this is also our stunning ability, and it sets the target off balance also for 3 seconds. So it stuns them for 3 seconds and sets them off balance for 3 seconds. And while slotted, this gives us speed, increases our speed when we're in stealth or sneaking by 25%, which is major. So you're getting multiple things out of this. This is a really good ability, and you want this ability on your front bar, especially when you dot people up, you're stealthing, you get up close to them, to the melee range, and you can either ambush or use this, but if you get up close, you can just hit them with this and then execute with your ultimate, which I'll get to in a second, or use ambush and then stealth out and use concealed weapon, which I'll do. You'll see in some of the videos. It just depends on the scenario and how close you are to the target, how far they are away, and who you're fighting. Honestly, you can move all three around and how you want to use them. But our ulti, let's see here, go over. Yeah, you can use that actually, and then use Impale. But Soul Harvest is going to be our actual ultimate. This hits for 17,211 magic damage, which is really high and really nice. Hits really hard. Unfortunately, it has a cast time now, but as you'll see in some of the videos, I'll go to use it and then it won't work. Something happens, but it's just all based on how you're playing and utilizing it at the right times. But this also puts Major Defile, reducing the healing received and health recovery by 35%. So even hitting them with this, even if they're at like 50 to 40%, can do massive damage, but it's also going to increase your damage against them by 20% for 6 seconds, which is major. So you're able to use your other abilities and pretty much take them out. Light attack, impale, or ambush. They get away. Impale, light attack, concealed weapon, whatever you want. And while slotted, anytime you kill somebody, you get 10 ultimate back. It regens really quick. This ability is amazing. The uptime on it is nuts. Like, I constantly have it all the time. Like I said, though, being able to use it, it's situational and at the right time and right moment, because the cast time sort of messes it up, which sucks. But overall, it's a really good ability. And it costs next to nothing. It's 70 ultimate. You have that back so quick, especially on Nightblade with the passives and everything. You'll have no problem keeping this up. You'll always have it. On our back bar, I'm running Debilitate. This is our healing staff bar. This hits for 20,436 magic damage over 10 seconds, and it reduces their movement by 50% for 4 seconds, which is good. This is going to reduce their speed and slow the target down so that you can catch up, which you shouldn't have any problem being on the Nightblade and stealthing, where we can run pretty fast. It's honestly a really hard hitting dot. And we have, like I said, the back bar, we have 3 dots on here, and these are just to take down the defenses and the resistances and the health. of the target. We're not trying to kill people with these, although I have killed multiple people with them. Not trying to, it's just trying to take down their health and the resistances, weaken them so that we can get up on them and use our burst and critical damage real fast and execute them. But this also puts, affected the target with minor magicka steel, causing you and your allies to restore 300 magicka every 1 second when damaging them, which is really good. So you put this on along with the other 2 dots, and you'll be getting resources back. Rapid regeneration is our next ability. This one is really, really good, and this heals us for 23,124 health over 5 seconds. This is a massive heal. Like, it works really well if you're getting bogged down or in sticky situations, getting hit by 3 or 4 guys at once and stuff, and people using detect pots and all that stuff, like keeping you out of stealth, trying to roll dodge, get out. You hit this and staying alive, trying to get back into your stealth, you will most times survive. It will heal you almost back to full health. It's insane, especially once you get back to stealth. Like, it's a really good heal for really bad situations. It's massive. This ability saved me so many times. It's insane. Our next one is Shadowy Skies, and yes, I'm running this on both bars, as you can see. The reason being is that in Cyrodiil, the lag and half the stuff in there is broke and ridiculous, and you can't bar swap sometimes, can't even use immovability pots, don't even work. This stops you from, literally switching bars, which is ridiculous. So I have it on 2 here, both bars, and it's just pretty much to ensure that I can stealth whenever I need to. Also, this keeps the dots from ticking on you. It's really, really vital to have this. Now, if we didn't have a problem bar swapping, obviously I would only run it on 1 bar. But this is a really good ability. It's your stealth, and it's gonna critical strike. You can switch this out for the swallow soul, or you can put channel acceleration. I would probably put channel acceleration if it was me. This is gonna give you major expedition for 12 seconds and minor force for 36 seconds. But you can go for the other morph if you want, because those remove like 1 or 2 snares, I think. And it's way less cast time. I think it's only like 0.4 second cast time or something like that, or no cast time. I can't remember, but I use this one because I'm in stealth all the time, so I don't normally have a problem with that, and I can take the extra time to use that. But like I said, since Cyrodiil's broken out. Our next one is Entropy, and yes, I realize that I'm running Rattle Cage on this build, but the reason I use this is for the dot. So this one hits for 19,788 magic damage over 11 seconds and heals you. Also gives you heal back 1504 every 2 seconds. So you're getting some healing abilities back from these dots too, which is really good and helps keep you alive, especially while you're in stealth. When you pop these, when you hit all 3 of these dots on the person too, you're going to switch to your front bar, and it's going to push these to about 22 or 23k damage, which is pretty massive. That's good. Like, it's really good. That's putting you at almost like 68k damage just on your dots alone that you're putting on there, and they're all cheap as hell. So like I said, it's just taking their defenses down, weakening them a little bit, and then that's why I use the ambush, because once I see my opportunity, I'll be on my front bar and I'll strike. And that gap closer is important for me. I like it, but you can use Swallow Soul in the front bar too if you want, where the ambush is. But overall, this ability, if you want to switch out Rattle Cage and use War Maiden, you will obviously have more damage and more crit, and you can use this for the major sorcery. But I just like Rattle Cage because of the more survivability I get from it. You got 2 sets that give you max health, and honestly, the chest and the legs giving us more resistances. I just found it better. I liked it a lot better. You don't have to use Rattle Cage. Like I said, you can go to War Maiden. But our next one ability is Consuming Trap, and this does about the same amount of damage, 19,788. This is a really good ability too. Hits really hard, really good dot, and it can refill soul gems, but most importantly, it will restore magicka and stamina. So you're using all 3 of those dots, and it hits really hard. Soul Tether I used on the back bar. I was bombing a while back, so I just didn't change it, but you can use the other morph if you want. It still hits pretty hard, and I also use this because I've had multiple Nightblades trying to kill me at once, and I'll pop that real quick and it'll tether them and pull them out of stealth, which works really good. Let's see here. You can use the channel, where is it? Yeah, the Sigic one. I don't have it unlocked on here, but the Morph to Undo also on the back, or you can use the Healing Staff Ultimate on there. It's up to you. You can really choose what you want on there. And like I said, on Ambush right here on our front bar, you can choose to put, where is it? Swallow Soul, there it is. You can put Swallow Soul on there and switch them out. It just depends on how you want to run it. This will give you more, I hate it when it does this, it's so stupid. You have to switch bars and go back in. There it goes. 40k Magicka, so it's going to put us up like 2k more Magicka. And it hits really hard too. And you can be more ranged if you don't want to get up super close until they're almost dead. But I like to do the range to weakness and then my melee up close. But like I said, it's ultimately up to you. You can do what you want. If you want the 40k, go ahead and go for that. If not, then put this back. Alright, let's see here. Champion points. We're running 51 into Warlord, 4 into Siphon, 75 into Arcanist, 49 Mooncalf, 32 to Befoul, 40 Tumbling, 19 into Shade. And the reason I run 19 into Shade is because I like to not run out of my stamina, and it really helps with the stealth. I can pretty much stay in stealth for ever almost. Hardly run out of stuff. Plus we have the tri-stat pots, so if you do, you'll be alright. But it really helps to keep that stamina high up, and this helps to do that too, especially when I'm staying in stealth all the time to roll dodge. We have next tree, 66 Elfborn, 75 Elemental Expert, 57 Dispel Erosion. The reason I have all this into here is because I want my burst and critical hits, execute abilities, and up close melee damage. Our dots hit so hard we don't need anything to Thaumaturge. 72 into Master at Arms, and nothing into Thaumaturge like I just said. You can put more in there if you put 75 into Thaumaturge on your front bar. The dots will be hitting at like 27 to 28k, which will put you almost close to 90k, plus with Lotus Fan that would be almost 100k tick. It's pretty ridiculous, but like I said, I'm not trying to kill people with my dots. I'm just trying to weaken them and bring down their defenses, make them use resources, and then get to them with my melee. Next tree, 66 Ironclad, 17 Spell Shield, 51 Resistance, 16 Light Armor Focus, 32 Hardy, 32 Elemental Defender, 37 Thick Skin. And you can feel free to change any of these how you see fit. Like I said, champion points, you can go how about it you want. I just run them like this. I just have a little bit into everything. It's fine and it works for me. But if you feel like you need more resistance against certain things, then feel free to change whatever you need. And any of the champion point trees, you can change them. 19 into Quick Recovery. Like I said, you can change anything in the trees that you need to and how you like to play. That's just how I play. Alright. I think that's close to it. I think I got everything. If I didn't, just let me know. I appreciate everyone checking out the video, and if you have any questions, just let me know. Thank you everyone, and I hope you have a good day.